Greetings and greetings to you all. Thank you for joining us again in this 5 element spiritual quest. My name is Master Abdullah Ngom. And today in this 5 element journey, we're going to talk about human consciousness, the three different types or levels of human consciousness. Um, of course, even though we are the same species, but consciousness are different. Consciousness basically is how one perceive reality, how one sees reality. That's consciousness. Okay, it's different with intellect. Intellect allow one to navigate, how one navigate within society, the framework of society. That's why we go to school, study. Thus, you can navigate to have a career based on society framework, have a career or dream based on society framework. But consciousness is different. Consciousness and intellect are not one of the same. You can have the highest level of intellect still be on the lower level of consciousness. For instance, I'm going to use a metaphor. Um, there's a saying, living in a box. That saying, you hear that someone living in a box. Living in a box basically mean living your consciousness is still exists in the four walls of the household. The box represent the house. The four walls of the house. That's what the box represent. And living in a box, the terminology of living in a box, or the saying, basically means one whose actions, way of perceiving, way of interacting, all based on the reality of the four walls, that the reality of the household. All the actions are determined or driven by it. Meaning, I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing that for my family. People have done so many horrible things. People have done so many unpleasant things. People have struggled in many kind of ways, just for the sake of what? Taking care of their family, the four walls, the family. We have seen people who go lying, stealing, conning in all fashion where you can think of. And when they get caught or not getting caught, all that they're doing it for what? To take care of their family, for the sake of taking care of their family. They will bend principles, violate laws, just for the sake of taking care of their family. We have individuals, let's say bank robbers. These are people with very high IQ. Their mind is fascinating. If you ever see a heist plan, it's impressive. They plan to the seconds. Okay. How much money is going to be there? How many people work at the bank? How many guards? Even to the rotation of the camera. They go by the seconds. Everything planned in details. High IQ. They know they can get caught. They can kill or be killed. They're very aware of that because that's the risk that comes with it. But they will go through all that trouble for the sake of taking care of themselves or taking care of their family or having a luxurious life, the four corner in the box. All in the box. They do it all that for the sake of trapped in a box. High IQ, but lower exists on a lower level of consciousness, first level of consciousness. We have seen politicians also in office. I mean, violate all law, robbing, stealing, doing all these things just for the sake of taking care of their family. And this is more dire or more obvious or more inhumane. That's the word. It's more inhumane. Used in third world country, let's say Africa. You see some presidents, some leaders, officials, politicians who elected in power for years, 50 years or whatever, for years and years in power. Then what they do, they will collaborate with outsiders, the imperial masters. They will collaborate with outsiders whether through government or through industrial companies, come to rob the resources of the country, signed and loud and signed by the leader, by the officials of that country, very country. Now, these officials, these are ones who have mansions, houses in many countries, houses that even some of the richest in that nation cannot afford. Even some of the richest in that nation cannot afford their houses, and they live in Africa, where people are dying around them. But they buy houses, not just one, but many, in many countries, that even those many who live that they cannot afford these houses. Not just that, their children will go study abroad, overseas, different countries. Why there's not even a supply, even have a carry-on for the school in the country? Parents have to buy that. Why they send their children overseas with the resources of the country? The best schools and the lifestyle that even the citizens in that nation who are well off will envy. Live in nice houses, drive $200,000 cars. Well, just because their father is an official back in Africa, where I'm not saying just car, but a decent road, you will not see it. Why their children are driving $200,000 cars, all resource of the nation. They commit all these crimes, all this inhumane act to take care of what? Their family. That's all they care about. Whatever they do reflect to taking care of their family. They cannot see beyond that. They cannot see or feel people dying around them from starvation. They cannot see people who have no house around them, while they have mansions that cost millions of dollars in every part of the world. They cannot see what is around them because their level of consciousness is at the lower level, first level. They in the box. They're in the box in consciousness. Even though they're in a higher position, based on their intellect, due to the lower level of consciousness, they created that was the reason they create all the horrible crime against humanity, against the people they have committed. Because they cannot see, they cannot feel their feeling, they cannot see their situation, they cannot see the die of the situation around them. As long as their family is good, for them everything is good, because that's their priority only. In imperialism, they understand that. That's why when they choose a leader, they choose someone as such, someone who has a lower level of consciousness, so it can be used. They're the one, just like most of the politicians, they're easy to be bribed. You bribe them, you get what you want. Anyone who's on a lower level of consciousness, all they care about to take care of what is in the box. That's why their principle is this big. Very, very little principles. Very little. Because taking care of the box is the whole their priorities, and they will do whatever it takes. Because that's all the mind can handle. A consciousness, that all it can handle. Their consciousness can only handle the four walls of the box. Meaning their consciousness can only handle their family. That's all they care about. That's all they see the task to take care of by all means necessary. These are the people, the first level of consciousness, we label those who live in a box. That's what that means. You live in a box. That has nothing to do with intellect, has to do with the level of human consciousness. You can be you can be a president and still living in a box. You can be, it doesn't matter what authority, or you can be CEO of a company still living in a box. These are the people, CEOs who have companies in different part of the world, especially third world countries, you know, committing horrible crime, contaminating water, that kill people just because they have to take care of their family, doing a lot of horrible things just because they can take care of their family, because they have a lower level of, they're on the first lower level. They don't feel much, they can see much. That's all they feel, that's all they care about. And you often see soldiers, let's say law enforcers, soldiers go to war, kill or be killed just for the sake of, you know, people do so many horrible things just for the sake of taking care of their family. So this is the first level of human consciousness. One who do whatever they need to do to take care of what they call their family, the four wall of the household, the family. These are the people who live in a box in their consciousness. Now, the second type or second level, if you will, of human consciousness is those who outside the box. They care more about the family household. These are the people who volunteer in the neighborhoods, okay, go to events. They want to take care of the neighborhood. They want to take care of other people from outside the household. Their priority is not just the household. Their priority, taking care of what they need to take care of, expand beyond the household. Okay. They active. They go charities. They go to event charities. They go to soup kitchen to feed people. They go to the hospital to visit people. To try to be productive, try to be useful outside the household. Okay. These are the people who's outside the box because they see the reality outside the household. As they take care, as they see themselves as a priority to take care of the household, they have the same mindset. See as a priority to take care of their surrounding, not the household. These are the people who be very active in the neighborhood, okay, care about the neighborhood, and they can expand that. And my favorite people in this level is those who there's a this doctor, what they call it, doctors without borders, but unfortunately most of them, they are used or misused by the organization they serve. But I have so much respect with someone in that level of consciousness, because they're not just they're not just thinking about taking care of their family, but these are people who went to school, get their medical degrees, and could live a decent life or luxurious life, if you will, but they choose to give up that life for the sake of taking care of their surroundings, taking care of others. And that's why you see they join usually organizations, nonprofit organizations, so on, go overseas, go to. And what I admire about these people, they can do their practice anywhere, but they choose to do it to serve those whom they think they need their services. Third world countries. They're not serving here, go home and come back, go to work, come back home, to serve people. No. You see them in villages, taking care of people, sleeping in huts, while they could be sleeping in luxurious, give up their livelihood, the livelihood they could have, a comfortable or decent livelihood they could have had. They give that up for the sake of helping others. These are the people who live outside the box. The second category. They want to take care of, they want to expand, because they're not living in the box no more. They see the reality of the box. The necessity of taking care of the people in the box, they see the same necessity of taking care of the people outside the box. This is the second level of consciousness. Again, this second level of consciousness does not determined by intellect as well. I use doctors just because of their their service to those whom they serve. But you see people who have no education whatsoever do things, great things to serve people, for the greater good of people. So the consciousness has nothing to do with intellect, has nothing to do with your stars. It's a level of consciousness. One who's not selfish, who's not just saying, who's not limited, who see beyond themselves, who see beyond themselves and want to serve others, want to serve those who are outside the box, because the box is your household. When you want to serve those who are outside the box, you will have to get out of the box. Now, the third level of consciousness, I'm going to use illustration. There's a portrait, a picture. I think many of you will see it. It's like the world, the globe, and there's someone ahead looking at the globe outside, or holding at the globe in their hands. Basically, that symbolizes the third level of consciousness. One who's not in the box, not outside the box, but able to see the whole collective at large. If you see that picture, one holding the world, or an image looking at the world from distance, that's what it symbolizes. The third level of consciousness. One whose all ideas, as one focus or have an idea or perspective or see as obligation to take care of their family or go serve others, is the same mindset. For them is to serve the whole collective. When they look when they look at the world, they don't see family, they don't see organization, they don't see group. They see the collective at large. So their action reflect on that. Whatever they do, they want to see how they can serve the collective, how the action can reflect to the collective. Because they see the whole thing at large, in the third dimension, so to speak. These are the people, these are the consciousness who are outside the box. No, they're not in the box, nor outside the box. They're outside the world observer, one who is able to see the entire planet, entire globe, entire collective. These are the third dimension. Okay. Third level of human consciousness. And this also reflects almost the same what you call the same setting of reality. Reality is setting based on the same diagram or the same metaphor. It's three categories. First category, let's say the one who's in the back, that's a planetarian system, the planetarian system. That's where we are right now. The one who is in the box. They only see what's in the box. That's the planetarian level. Then we have galactical level. Those who are able to, or the being who are able to navigate within the galaxies. That's the galactical level. They can navigate throughout the universe. They can go through galaxies, solar system, and so on. These are the galactical beings. Then you have celestial beings. Celestial being, just as one observe reality from far, it's the same thing with the celestial being. They're at higher levels. We believe where angels, guardian angel dwell, is a different dimension. It's a consciousness, high level of consciousness. One who see reality at large. One who see the wholeness of reality. One who's in the box can see only what's in the box. One who's outside the box can only see what is the surrounding. But one who able to observe the entire planet, outside the planet, can see everything at large. The same metaphor. That's the setting of reality. Of course, in a planetarium, we have, of course, what we call the underworld. So we see the basement, where the dirty creature live. We call demon. The basement, underworld. It's in the level of planetariums. They're down there. They're part of the planetarium state. Why they down there? They're the lowest. Why they down there? They're the lowest and the dirtiest. That's why we call it underworld. Okay? We here above. That's why they don't like us. They were demoted by the Most High. They were here first. They were the first one who were here. They were part of the planetarium upstairs, like us. That's why they hate human. They can't stand human. That's why they here bothering, just want to destroy everything. They down there. The underworld. So these are the setup of reality. Planetarian, galactical, and celestial. And our worst enemies, the dirty creature demon, they in the basement, under the underworld. Now, the reason they're there is what human are in that very level. The reason that they were demoted and thrown down there to the basement, the same reason humans are right there. They cause great destruction. They disrespect the earth, cause great destruction. Before they come to end it all, they got kicked out. They're in the lower dimension of reality. So as you can see, these are the three levels or categories of consciousness, which has nothing to do with intellect. Intellect is allow you to well navigate based on society framework, not reality, because reality is beyond society. Reality, consciousness is beyond intellect. And the thing here, many use intellect as a tool to navigate. Many use intellect as a tool to navigate. Ignore the consciousness. The consciousness, consciousness is a level. You can be on a lower level and work your way to the top level. It's just like a school. Primary school, high school, then college. Same thing. You can be on a lower level, then work your way to a higher level, to a third level. Just like is the school system. Okay? At primary school, then you can go to high school, then you can go to college. And if you go to college, you can stay more years to get more degrees, so when you come out, you can be more productive. Same thing. You see? These are the three categories. These are the three systems of reality. Okay? The three systems of reality. That's why we have planet, solar system, and galaxies. These are the three bodies of a universe. See? That's why anyone who do not believe God and claim to be intellectual is kind of like oxymoron. It's like, how can you be intellectual and not believing in God? It's intellectually impossible. For you see pattern appearing everywhere by themselves. It's just impossible if you are intellectual. If you are intellectual and don't believe in a creator, then you're not intellectual. If you claim to be intellectual, to understand reality, and you say you don't believe in God, then you're not intellectual, or you're contradicting yourself. Because if you have any level of intellect, you know how things are set up, there must be a creator. There must be someone who put this thing together. That's just a fact. Someone must put this thing together. Human consciousness, we have three levels. The universal setup, we have three levels: past, present, and the future. That's the timeline of reality. Three. How can what govern all realities be the same numbers? How can that be a coincidence? How can that be a coincidence? For that to become a coincidence, the chances are just like in trillion, billions, zero chance for that to become coincident. You see this pattern is everything in every existence. You see the same pattern. Every reality, you see the same pattern three. Now listen, you'll see many of the nation flag, but three colors. Many logos, three. They know that. Most of these intellectual people, they just being hypocritical. They just being a hypocrite. Because if you consent or the existence of God, that can interrupt the system of trickery, the system of class and category. Because you cannot be believing God and believing class and category and all this discrimination, or you cannot believe both at the same time. So since they serve the system, therefore, or let's put God on the back burner. Let's just not say nothing about it. But you cannot be intellectual and not believing in God. If you have any level of intellect and don't believe in God, you're a hypocrite. Because what you study, you see the fingerprint of God, all of it. See? So these are the three levels. As you can see, we operate based on these three levels. From creatures to God, same thing, same different levels. We have humans and other creatures of the planet, galacticals, we might call it alien, whatever, those who travel throughout the galaxy. Then we have celestial angels and God in high dimension. These are the three structures of reality. So, as you can see, we are not random human beings. We are not random creatures. We are creation. Because the same blueprint that exists within us as a human being is the same blueprint that governs all existence. From creatures, planet, galaxy, the entire universe, solar system galaxies. Same blueprint. What that says? That says we are all connected because we are all governed by the same law. What governs one human being is the same principle that governs the entire universe. Same thread, same pattern, same design, same system. We have youth, adult, and elderly. From childhood to youth, then from youth to adulthood, middle age to elderly. You're born, you live, you die. See? Same pattern, same law that govern all. The same system that allow one to function is the same system that allow the planet to function. Same system governed, the same system, and the same system govern one planet is the same system govern the entire solar system. Same govern the entire galaxy, and the same system govern the whole planet. It's like those Russian doors. You open one, the next one is identical, just different sizes, but identical. See? Same thing. How can all those small doors, one after another, all identical? How can that be a random? How can that be a random? How can even the doll make himself to begin with? You see? So the point of all this, just to make you realize that we are connected. We are one of the same. Human and non-human. Because the law that governs lives is the same law that governs what harbor life. All that can render. There's a creator, there's a designer who designed them all to function like a what? To function in order. See? There's a universal law. It's a system designed by the Most High. And all is connected. All is connected. All is connected. So when you in the box, in a lower consciousness, think that outside the box nothing matter, or whatever you do outside the box, as long as the box has been taken care of, that'll be okay. Outside the box and the box are one of the same. Outside the box and the box and outside the box are one of the same. The box cannot function without outside the box. If they were not outside the box, you will not have space to put the box to begin with. See? That's good. The same thing. If they were not earth, you will have nothing to observe. So everything is relevant. Just I'm here, nothing else matter. Everything is matter. Because neither one can exist or survive without the other. If there's no household, there's no community. All is interacted. Everything is one. But we are made to believe, even one who outside the box is still don't have the view, the perspective, the whole thing. That's why this is an organization just serving one particular area. There's a whole lot more than one area is planned. You can only be here outside, observe, able to see it all. You can only observe it here or hold it, able to see the whole thing at large. If you don't able to see anything, the wholeness of anything, isn't it? If you're not able to see the wholeness of anything, your assessment on that will be inaccurate, will be invalid. Because you cannot have accurate assessment on anything that you don't have the whole of it. To assess the weight of the apple, to measure it, you have to have the whole thing. See, if there's a piece missing, if you weigh the apple, you just weigh piece of the apple, not the whole apple, because there's a missing piece. So if you say the apple, this is the weight of the apple without that piece, your assessment is not valid, because that piece is somewhere and it will belong. So that piece is somewhere. You're missing one piece. So what your assessment is not accurate based on that missing piece. But since the piece is missing, for you, the apple is, this is the whole apple, but it's not the whole apple, there's a missing piece. You cannot make accurate assessment if you don't have the whole of it, or see the whole of it, or know the whole story. That's how our judiciary system is set up. You have prosecutor, you have lawyer, and you have the judge. Each one make their case. For the judge to be able to see the whole story, and there's a juries and there's a witnesses for the whole story to be evidence put together, everything bring it in, for the whole story to be displayed. Just then the judge will have chance to make accurate judgment. And the judge, the juries are watching, and they see based on the evidence, they make the decision, and the judge call for the judgment. That's how our judiciary system is set up. That's how things work. You cannot make, okay, I'm not talking about the justness of the system, bro. I'm not talking about the justness, because the judiciary system is far from just. I'm talking about the setup. That's how it's set up. The judiciary system is set up to have the whole story. Because you cannot make accurate assessment, valid of anything if you don't have the whole of it. So if you just focus on the box, that thing that reality of the world is the box you live in, you're missing big pieces of your reality. Or if you think also you outside the box, this only the community that you want to serve, you're missing the whole thing as well. You can be only here to see the whole reality as it is. And when you do, there's no distinction. You will see as one. The globe, you don't see countries. When you observe the whole globe, let's say the picture of the globe, you see a map, you see a globe. Not countries. You see the globe. So that's a higher level of consciousness. It's just like you go to school. You expect to graduate college. If you don't graduate college, you didn't finish school. Same thing. If you don't graduate to college, meaning to have the whole requirement of level of education, college degree. After that, you can go to get many other degrees. But college, you cannot go get other degrees without graduating college. College is the requirement of the educational system. You have to graduate. Okay? That's why you have to be here. You have to get out of primary school. You have to move out of high school and go to college. And from college here, you can see the whole educational system framework. Then you can choose what to do. Unless you're here, you're not in college, you didn't finish school. And if you don't graduate college, your education basically is not valid. That's why college degree is required. It's required. After that, then to graduate. When it comes to the education, you have to graduate college. And when you graduate, then you can take it from there. But just high school, they say you're not finished yet. Nobody say, yeah, high school, they say you're not finished yet. Why? Because you have to graduate college. So just you're going out of the household and you're going to go serving other community, you're not finished yet. You're not finished till you're able to have the perspective to serve the entire collective. That's your college graduation. To be able to have mindset to serve the whole collective. Not just your household or your community, but the whole collective. See? The whole collective. This is the 3 level of human consciousness. One who only serve the 4 corner of the wall, the household, one who's in the box, prime school, and the one who serve the community and beyond, one who's outside the box, high school, and one who able to observe the wholeness of the collective, have perspective to the collective, to serve the collective at large, one who graduated from college. Just then, you have conquered your educational requirements. Just then, you have complete your educational requirements, because that's the requirement of education, to graduate from college. The rest is a choice. Getting bachelor, doctorate, all those things are choice. It's not requirements. But to graduate is a requirement. So to have a perspective of serving the collective at large is a requirement. Is a requirement. Then after that, how much and how far you want to go, that become a choice. Or how you want to go about it, that become a choice. And when that comes, does not matter where or who. You will not discriminate or distinguish, because you already have perspective. The collective is one. Serving John Paul, Jennifer Murray is the same thing. You're in Africa, you're in China, you're in Brazil, it doesn't matter. All those geographical or ethnic or people will no longer matter. You see one thing, collective. Because what you're doing is hoping and visioning that will affect the entire collective, human and not human. So this is the 3 level of human consciousness. And has nothing to do with education. Has to do with your soul. How to get to any level will base you on your soul. How much you feel. How much you feel. Because the way you feel with your family, willing to do anything, if that expand, if you expand that, the same thing. You were able to feel your surrounding, your neighborhood. You see your neighborhood is not decent. You wanna participate. You wanna expand it, because you will feel it as your house. You don't want your house to be dirty. You don't want to see the neighborhood to be dirty. So you will be active. You see. Then when you go to college, the same thing. The way you feel with your family, the same way you feel with your neighbor and country and beyond. The way you end up feeling the same way with the whole collective. you feel the planet, you feel every life in it, because you're looking up and you're able to feel all lifetime in it, human and not human, human and not human. So you will not be saying, let me take care of human, let me take, no, 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 no. You're going to be taking care of the planet and all of its inhabitants. That's what happened when you graduate from college, and able to see the planet from high perspective, that we were meant to, that we were designed, that we were created to see it high perspective. So I think I'm going to leave it here till next time. Anyway, the journey continue. The journey continue. Taking care of oneself is an obligation, moral obligation. Taking care of your loved one, moral obligation. Taking care of your surrounding, moral obligation. Taking care of many, you can, many and all, moral obligation. Taking care of the planet at large is moral obligation for every single one of us, because they're all connected. And the one that stands us matter the most. Where the soil that the house is built is more relevant than the house, because without the soil there will be no house. So taking care of what stands us become the more priority, should be more prioritized. Taking care of what stands us, because without it, nothing would be here. But if you just focus on the box, taking care of the box, destroying what stands the box at the same time, you are a victim of a lower consciousness. That's why it's so essential, so crucial to be able to graduate from college, to be able to see the whole thing at large. Just then, you know, taking care of the largeness is more crucial, more relevant than taking care of what is in the box. Because without the stability of what's in the box will never be stable. Will never be stable. Will never be stable. But when you're able to stabilize where the box stands, just then everything will be. You need to get out of the box. Humankind need to get out of the box to see life in its higher perspective. Know that taking care of what's in the box is more crucial than taking care of the box. So I'm going to leave it here till next time. And as always, be well, and God bless you all. I will see you next time.